We've been talking to people who've suffered things like persecution, major illness, bereavement. So has what's happened to them made them doubt God is good? Have they ever been angry with God or blamed God for what they've been through?
I think the thing my same-sex attraction has most caused me to doubt is not God's existence. I'm never doubting that because of just the evidence in a whole number of different ways, particularly in the beauty of creation around us, particularly in the person of Jesus Christ. But it has often made me doubt his goodness. You know, how can he be good and put me through so much suffering and so much hardship? That has been where the battle often has been. And the thing I often need to most convince myself of is God's goodness. And the things I need to make sure I'm not doubting is the fact that he is good and does love me.
I think I felt frustrated and, yes, I suppose sometimes angry. Angry or disappointed that I may not see the grandchildren grow up. That's been a very hard thing to surrender that right. I don't think I've blamed God because, no, I haven't blamed God, I don't think.
No, I don't think I've ever been angry with God. I've certainly questioned lots of times in my police service, and I guess in other things that I've done, I've maybe asked questions. But I thank God in every case, without exception, some answer has come which has assured me not to ever doubt him or not to ever get angry with him.
Yeah, I think the most dangerous times I've had as a Christian growing up were the times when I was angry with God for my sexuality. So I can think of one or two times when my anger with him was quite overwhelming. Usually because I was just getting tired of the battle that it is to say no to sexual temptation in this area. I can remember one time on holiday just being overwhelmed by feelings of angerness and really doubting God's goodness because I'm same-sex attracted. So, you know, I would always say to somebody who experiences same-sex attraction, it will be hard, and it will be particularly hard to keep believing that God is good in the midst of the experience of being attracted to people of your own sex.
Yeah, I suppose I have. I mean, God is at the centre of my life. I've lived and worked for him all my days. I think very deeply about why I'm going through what I'm going through. As a missionary in Africa, I saw suffering beyond anything that you can imagine. We worked in an area where there was at that time a cholera outbreak. We had the only medical facility in the whole region. We went through the worst drought Southern Africa has known to date, 2 years without rain in the most intense heat. We've seen suffering on an unimaginable level. But for me to encounter it so deeply, daily, yes, like Job in the Bible, I've cried out to God for answers. And I don't blame God, but I do accept his lordship over my life. So I accept that he has allowed me to go this way. Some might call that blame, but I just acknowledge his role in my circumstances. And at times I've got very angry, but I find because the Bible is such an honest book, it portrays God's servants in those days also angry with God, and it doesn't seem to condemn them for that. At times they are rebuked. Job was rebuked towards the end of the book for some of his attitude, and also his friends were condemned for theirs. But I don't feel that the Bible comes down heavy on me because of those times when I cry out, God, where are you? In fact, Jesus cried on the cross, my God, why have you forsaken me? And that's a prayer from the book of Psalms that I've echoed many times. And the book of Psalms is very honest, and it's full of lament. And so I find in the scriptures the opportunity and the ability to express deep feelings of searching, yearning, and yes, at times anger. And there is a righteous anger when we encounter suffering that, you know, has its place in the whole process of surviving difficult circumstances.
But how could I blame someone who has been so merciful to me and so kind and so forgiving, and he loves me. You know, how could I blame him?
For the people we've talked to in these programmes, the suffering they've been through has made them ask all kinds of questions, but it hasn't made them doubt God's goodness. They even recognise that God has brought good things out of what they've suffered. More about this next time.